It is now brush time. I'm going to show you how to make your own custom brushes. Now, before we get into making everything all crazy and getting a bunch of, you want to like 1,000 different brushes like you may have in Photoshop, let me just say this. The texture brushes and the shape brushes they have here are very robust and very customizable, and there's some really great brushes. So I would say that when you make a new brush, make something. I'm going to show you a bunch of different ways to make a brush, and I think that this is going to be very helpful for you. But I would say that the more personal your brushes are, the more personal your artwork is going to be, instead of using somebody else's brush. Not that I don't want you to use my brushes, because if you like them, that's great. If you don't like them, that's fine too. So the first thing that we're going to do is make a chain brush. What you want to do is go into the brush library. You may want to create a new brush set if you haven't already, but right now I'm just going to hit create a new brush, and we're going to just make a standard brush. So a standard brush is going to give you, it's going to, when you do the capture, it's going to give you a what you see is what you get brush. And I'm not going to go through all of these and make different brushes like this. It just doesn't make any sense for me to. But I am going to show you a few different methods on making brushes. I know I said that already. Sorry. So now you're going to get this little icon here. And we're going to double click onto that icon. Actually, what I'm going to do is take that off altogether. First thing we're going to do is set up our chain brush. So we're going to go up to our symmetry tool. You're going to hit the symmetry this way, and you're going to hit symmetry that way. Now, the thing about the chain brush is that as imperfect as you want to make it, the more imperfect it is, in my opinion, the cooler the chain winds up looking. And I know there's a video that shows you how to make a chain brush, and that's cool. I just happen to like having a chain brush that's a little bit messier, because chains in real life, when they're worn, they are pretty messy and all rusted out and everything. So what we're going to do is, I got this first line right here, and I just went down. It's like a nice little oval, and it's a little bit square on the top. And I'm making a few mistakes here, and that's okay. So now what I'm going to do is this is going to be our chain brush. I'm going to go up a layer. And what I also want to do is just kind of bring this down a little bit. I'm going to go back down to the first layer, go back up to the new layer, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure exactly where this is and go down. Down, 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 down. And that's going to be the second link to our chain. So I'm going to go back, bring this up, bring it up or down. It just depends on how you want to work. And I'm going to go in with I want to make this to be, you can choose whatever you want, but let's just make this a solid color, a gray. I'm on the first level, so I'm just going to go in here and darken this up and just color this in. Oh, I should probably lock this. That's going to help out a lot too. I don't necessarily even need this to be perfect. I'm going to hide that. I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to do the same here. Now, the cool thing about this is that you don't have to go all the way around. All you have to do is just color one quadrant of this. Now, I would go all the way down here. Just go all the way around. Again, if you want this to be more solid, that's fine. If you don't want this line around here, you don't have to have this line around here. It's totally up to you. The more personal that you make this chain brush, it's going to be your artwork. So now when you get ready to use a chain brush, it'll be something that is yours. So I'm going to take this off of here and this off of here. And what we're going to do is we're going to go up here to the move, and what I'm doing is I'm just repositioning this so that it becomes a link. Now I think I made this a little bit too big. Yeah, I made it a little bit too big, but that's okay. And what I really want is for it to overlap right there. But I'm going to have to do this. I got to shrink this down. That's the only way it's going to fit. So I highlighted that. Whoops. Let's do this first. Well, actually, I guess I can. I'm going to go back over. Oh, this is just a nightmare for me today. That's okay. Like as I said before, I am making mistakes, and I want you to see me make these mistakes because this is the same stuff that you're going to go through, and this is the same stuff that's going to get you frustrated. So we're just going to make this a lot smaller. Kind of straighten that out a little bit. Then I'm going to do the same thing to the bottom layer. And I'm moving this down. And what I'm going to try and do is trying to make sure that it's about the same size. Okay. Now that I've resized these, you want to make sure that these are a little bit smaller because we're probably going to resize it again. Now you can leave this as is and that's fine, but what I want to do is I want to lock both of these layers. And I'm going to put some shadow into here. First of all, I'm going to choose the right layer. And so I'm kind of making this round a little bit. I'm putting the shadow here. Then I'm going to go here and I'm going to put a little bit of shadow on the inside. If you want to use reference, you can. The wonderful thing about this is that I can't really mess with this part of it right here. And I'm going to put a little bit of shadow underneath. Go right here a little bit. And what I am also going to do is I'm going to go back up and I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to make a few highlights. Oh, I have to unlock this because it's the only way I'm going to get the highlights on. I'm going to highlight this side right here. Then I'm going to unlock both of these layers. And I am going to highlight this portion right here. So now that I'm looking at this, now this is a chain and it's fine as is. What I can also do is perhaps I could lock this layer. I can go in with my glow brush and you see it's giving me the glow. It's showing me where the glow is. I can hit it right there. Glowing right there. And gives a little bit of a shine. I think that's a bit too much. That's probably a bit too much also. But like I said, you could play with this. I don't want to sit here and fiddle around with this and keep playing with it all day. But just put a little bit of a shine right there. And now what we want to do is you want to merge these down. Merge with below so it's just one file. Now this is going to be a little bit bigger to capture. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm just going to shrink it down a little bit. Move it up. Now if I want to, I can change the shape of this. I can make this a different kind of chain brush because I already have one. And now what I want to do is go back into my brushes, go back into my brush library. Now if you did not create a new brush, it'll still be over there. So we're going to highlight this Make sure that you're on the Advanced tab. You're going to go down, and right here where it says Capture, you're going to hit Capture. And you see right now I have this blank empty crosshairs. I am going to take my brackets and go up, and I want to stamp it. So right now it has shape, which that's fine, but we want shape and colors. And all of a sudden I got this chain brush. So I'm going to go up a level, but it's not acting like a chain. So now we got to do some tweaks to it. So if you want to make it softer or adjust the softness or harshness, let's make this a little bit sharper. Radius with heavy pressure, we're not going to do any of that right now. That's for you to kind of play with. And when you're drawing with a brush like this, you're probably going to change that kind of stuff anyway. But let's do this first part first. So the roundness, not going to mess with that. Spacing, let's make the spacing, let's make it touch with each other. Rotation dynamics, we want to put rotate to stroke, but it's still not quite giving us enough. Now, there's nothing wrong with that chain. That actually looks kind of cool. I do like that. But what we want to do is increase the spacing until we get that. Now, all of a sudden, even though it's up here, you got yourself a chain brush. Now, depending on how you want to opacity with light pressure, 100%. I don't really mess with any of that too much. We can kind of make it to where you can kind of adjust this chain, but the biggest thing that you want with this chain brush is to have your the rotate to stroke is the most important thing. And that's going to be your biggest part of it. And like I said, you can increase the spacing, take the spacing out a little bit more. Roundness of the brush, I don't think I'm going to mess with that. Let's see with the rotation. Nope, not going to mess with the rotation. I mean, I guess we can go back that way, but that doesn't make any difference because it's going to go with the flow of, it's on that rotate to stroke. And the last part of what we want to do, and you don't want to go rotation randomize or flow randomize because this is just a basic chain brush. And I'm going to name this. So what you want to do is, double click onto this icon right where it says do it yourself brush. We want to double click, or we want to click onto it, and it gives you an icon you could choose, but it's basically the same icon. You're going to delete do it yourself brush. You want to name it. So I'm going to name this Chain 2. And so what if I want to go in and change this chain brush? Well, I got this on chain 2 already, so let's do something else. Let's have a little bit of fun with this. I want to zoom in, and I got it on the same properties. So what I want to do is perhaps I want to go back up here to my inking pen, and I got it on this level. I don't know why I have a third level up there. That doesn't make any difference to me. We can get rid of that level, or get rid of that layer, I'm sorry. And let's go back. I want to turn this into black. And I'm going to put a dot right here. And I'm going to add a spike right there because I want this to be just a little bit different. And maybe I'll put a spike on the inside of it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to give you guys some variety. Now I'm going to go in closer here. You can really go in and go to town on this. I'm going to hit this color right here just to give it a little bit of depth. You're not going to notice it. It's not going to be that big of a deal here. maybe here. And I'll do that. So now I want to go back in to my chain library. I'm just moving this around. I do apologize. I'm going to replace that chain with chain 2 just to give you. So here we go. We got chain 2. And I'm going to go back under advanced. And I'm going to hit capture. And I'm just leaving the settings the same. I'm going to try and center it a little bit. And now let's test this brush out. It should have the same settings on it, but it does not. Wait a minute, I think it does. Yeah, it does. And now I'm going to have to adjust this one a little bit. So I'm going to delete that layer. Let's go under advanced. Had to bring that spacing out a little bit more. Maybe closer. Now, I noticed that it's kind of giving me this, it's sort of kind of a crooked thing that it's doing. Let's make it sharper. So the roundness, I'm going to go ahead and bring the roundness up. That gives it a different look to it. I think I like that. Rotation. I'm going to rotate it a little bit. It's a little bit better. Now I just want to increase the spacing. And there we go. We got ourselves a different chain brush with some little spikes on it. And you can do that same process with Experiment. Oops, phone is ringing. This is a live course. Sorry, or I'm recording this live. Hold on. Not like you really noticed it, but I'm back. So I have chain 2 here. And this is kind of cool. And I got chain 1, which is also a different chain. And so, you know something? I think that I'm going to stop this and turn this into a part 2 and show you some of the other methods on making your own brushes. So I think that showing you the chain brush will get you excited. You're more than welcome to use mine. By the way, all of my brushes, you're more than welcome to use them in any sort of project that you have, or any commercial or anything you're getting paid for. Use my brushes. I don't care. I don't need any credit or anything like that. Just use the brushes. They're essentially free. And so that's all I want to say about that. So I'll see you in the next video in a part 2.